We got it. New Thought Tuesdays.
Good morning.
Good morning or afternoon if you're on the East Coast like I am. Hey, spiritual creatives, it's time for New Thought Tuesdays. And today, Rich and I are talking all about the transformative power of transcending ego. Ow, ego. So we're going to be talking about ego. We're going to be talking about human ego. We're going to be talking about the divine awareness of self today. And why we're talking about this is to move our direction into harmonious connection. Harmonious connection in the recording studio, on the set, in front of your computer, at a white paper. That sense of harmonious connection, not only with others, but with yourself. That's what we're talking about today on New Thought Tuesdays. Is that not the case, Richard?
Yes, that's the case.
Hi, Richard.
Hi, good morning. So Ron asked me if there's a New Thought Tuesday today.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he said he never got a notice, which is strange. Okay, so if you want notices about New Thought Tuesdays, and I'll be on top of it. I don't know why he didn't get it, but go to newthoughttuesdays.com. And there's a little form there you fill out, and we'll send you reminders the day before and then 1 hour before, just to remind you to show up on New Thought Tuesday. Show up for yourself.
We have no ego about about sending you reminders. We are strictly here for that connectivity, that harmonious connectivity. So you won't get a lot of them from us. So welcome to those of you who are joining us, and I'm sure the rest of you will join soon as you are here and thriving. I'm going to say, well, hello.
Okay, I'm going to hide the...
I'm going to say thank you, and I'm going to... there we go. Got it.
We're quirking our setting up today, but
quirking our setting up. So the sense of ego. Okay, let's start with there. So what is ego? For those of you who are not deeply into this New Thought, ancient wisdom philosophy, we're talking about the idea of ego as a human expression of deep desire to express human self, human attributes, human desires. And oftentimes ego drags us in a direction of the negative. I want this, I know better, you don't, I can. So that sense of ego that we're coming from right now to talk about has to do when you're feeling kind of like dragged, kind of dragged by your needs, on your knees perhaps, but dragged by your needs. So that's where I'm talking about ego. When you think about ego, Mr. Smith, what do you think in terms of ego? What do you call ego?
Ego, the ego mind. That's the mind that we use to think with consciously. Spiritual mind is the other mind. That's the mind where you go within and allow infinite intelligence to speak through you. So, for me, it's the ego mind controls you, and the spiritual mind allows you to control it, everything around you. I'll go deeper into that later.
can control, engage, envelop, and ego. I love that. I love these acronyms, edging God out. Sometimes ego can be a sense of that human determination where I'm the one in charge. I am responsible for I. The whole I thing keeps coming up. So when we're on a set, when we're in the recording studio, when we're in the costume shop, when we're at our computer writing or copywriting or writing a script, when we're planning out our shots, when we're finding the financing. In our creative industry, oftentimes ego can really come in handy as far as I can do this and you have to listen to me. And that's when I have a sense that we're edging God out. Well, there he is back. Hold on just a second. I thought I cleared that all up.
We're having a snafus here on New Thought Tuesday.
We are. People are coming in.
Go
and
with it.
They're getting put in the video, and pardon us. I will there. Hello.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Dean's going to talk about ego right now, and I'm going to.
Rich is going into the land of technical right now. So,
yeah.
So we're going to move on then to that idea of harmony. I don't think many people need a reason to be in harmony, but sometimes when we're on the set in the composition studio, we can be working against ourselves. We can feels like we're working against others and working against our own divine urges, our own divine desires. And when we have the desire that things go a certain way, it's when the ego is coming up. And the ego can be I found the ego quite a very helpful, creative tool, because it allows me to dive down into the human condition. It allows me to really reflect on some of the best and some of the not best parts of humanity and really bring them into my work. And that's fabulous to bring these human qualities into our work. But to get dragged down with them is one of the things we were talking about in another conversation that Rich and I had during the week. That idea, you don't want to drag yourself down, allowing your ego to drag your own spiritual quality based on the characters that you're exploring, based on the music that you're exploring, based on the film that you're directing, based on the film that you're producing. There's a sense of keeping your spiritual center while you're having this egoic experience. So, are you back to me, Mr. Smith?
Almost.
All right.
Trying to send my link to some people.
Okay, great. So, I've been just 2 seconds before we pressed go on today, I was having an egoic experience. We were having another situation around the house, and it's like, but I got New Thought Tuesdays to do. And so I allowed that ego to go, okay, how can we get this work done right now? Great. Use the ego, express that human's thing, and then took a breath to say, let's go back into harmony. I felt like I went out of harmony. I was very effective on a human standpoint, but I brought myself back into harmony to breathe into New Thought Tuesdays. And then we're having all of this technical stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is going on. Back into harmony. A little bit of fake it till you make it, and then a whole lot of back into harmony. And that's how I tend to work with my ego when I find it's kind of flaring, just to work in terms of that ease and that harmony. And the ease and the harmony comes from the ability to know a power and a presence greater than myself that transcends all of this apcray that appears to go on sometimes.
Like what's going on right now with the tech.
What's going on with everybody's here that needs to be here, Richard. All is well.
Exactly.
We're good. We're fine. I need to hear more from you, Mr. Smith, about ego, because I'm talking in terms of the human quality and where harmony gets involved. I'm talking in terms of where I find ego gets in the way. We've talked in terms of using ego for your characters, for your films. When you're going to talk more about that whole spiritual quality of allowing ego to express itself through a spirit quality, I think. What do you have to say about that, Smith?
Well, what I have to say about that is that I don't remember what I'm going to say because I know it's got all messed up in the technical jargon. So, but let's talk about, the ego for me can get me in trouble a lot of times. And when I let go of the ego and open up again to spiritual mind, I allow that truth to take hold in my mind. The truth is, for me, it's that I'm one with this divine presence, and that it's working in and as and through me, and everything is unfolding in perfect order. And I have to keep going back from that, because if I let the ego take control of my mind, things just don't work out the way that I'm not going to say they should. Well, what do you think about that, Dean?
Well, they're not going to work out the way your ego wants them to. When we start getting into that idea of should, and I'm glad you brought that up, it starts getting into the area of where that our ego wants it to go. And that's all fine and good. It's a good human quality to know about. And there's also then, and this is what we'll talk more about in the inner circle when we're all talking together afterwards, is that ability to release the ego, identify the ego, release the ego, and that whole should area starts getting I think it starts getting in terms of what is it that you have faith in? Where is your trust?
Yeah.
I think I feel that when I'm involved with the ego sense, even when I was talking about just before we were starting, all in 5, 4, 3, 2, all hell's breaking loose here, working with it. Okay, I'm not trusting that New Thought Tuesdays is going to go well. I'm not trusting that the vendors who are showing up when we ask them not to show up I'm not trusting that it's all going well, that my ego needs to control this to make it appear harmonious. Well, that's all fine and good, but that's very human. What we're talking about is moving into that alignment where you trust that it's all going well. Add your part to it. Allow the trust to unfold in your creative projects with your creative self. Allow the trust to unfold and play with it. It's kind of like, that old comedy improv technique of you always say yes. It's okay, great. This is going on. Always say yes. Yes, and boom. And embrace it instead of pushing against it, as Abraham Hicks would say, instead of pushing against it. That's where you start noticing when you're pushing it against it, when we're pushing against it, that's when the ego is rearing its big head. And we will talk about in the conversation in the inner circle, how do we go from identifying that ego point to embracing the harmony and the trust.
Yeah. Trust. That was, I just found my notes. That was in my notes. You're just trusting that everything is unfolding in perfect order, trusting that the universe has your back, and that there's a reason for everything that's happening, whether it's so that we can learn how to grow from this experience, or whether it's to transcend this experience. And, through thoughts become things. And so if you have like self-doubt, your ego has you in self-doubt, I don't know if I can do this. Okay. Then you can transcend that just by having faith that, yeah, I believe that there's something working in and as and through me that has my back, and I can do this, and move away from that self-doubt. I had other stuff in here that I was going to talk about too. visualizing success. If you have self-doubt because your ego mind, then visualize yourself being successful at this thing that you want to create. I don't think the mind knows the difference between what you're imagining in your mind and what's actually real, because your imagination becomes your reality. And so if you can start to envision, like when I wake up in the morning, I open my pathway to the success that I want during the day by visualizing it, seeing myself doing it, seeing things unfolding in perfect order. The universe has no other choice but to conform to that. Now,
Yep.
if you wake up and you're in self-doubt, oh my God, I've got this theater production I'm in today, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. And then you're going to get that. And so just have faith, and also visualize. Vision for what you want to create in your life is another way to, get through the ego mind. and you can also use affirmations. I'm talented and capable as an artist. I trust my unique vision and my creative abilities. I'm worthy of success, and recognize that I have gifts that I'm sharing with people that are completely awesome, and nobody else is sharing the same gift that I'm sharing.
Can I put those in the chat?
Sure.
Thank you. I'm glad.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to put those in the chat so that folks can have them here that are taking part. And I think it's time for us to go into the inner circle and talk more about this idea of how. Okay, great. Ego, not good. Spirit, good. Whatever. How do we transcend that ego? You were starting to go into some of the techniques that you use. We'll talk more at length about that and the inner circle. So join us there. And if you want to join us there in the future, the place to go is newthoughttuesdays.com. Click on yes, I want to be reminded, and we'll send you a couple of brief emails with the link of the Zoom room where we have the inner circle. So we will see you there. Anything else that you want to say before we get off the live stream?
Nope, I'm good.
You're good. All right. I'm putting that stuff in the chat.
Okay.
And boom, boom, boom. All right, there. Okay. We will see you guys next Tuesday.
Take care. Have a good week.